it's Michelle, and today I've got for you a Pilates workout on the reformer. It's going to be focused mostly on our abdominals and on our arms. So we're going to get in some really good stuff for those two places in particular, and we're going to get in our ab work without just doing a bunch of crunches, okay? So we're going to have a lot of variety and variation and some fun options for you today. Okay, so let's get started. I have my foot bar down because we are actually not going to need it at all. I have a single blue spring on. You're welcome to do this heavier. For me, blue is plenty, so I still get a good range of motion, okay? And also have your box nearby because we're going to bring it out shortly, okay? So to get started, we're going to come up onto your carriage, get onto all fours, hands on the rails, and you want a little bit of breathing room between the shoulder rests and your thighs. And then we're going to start with some cat stretches to warm us up, okay? So breathe in, extend and look up, and then you're going to breathe out and flex into a fold of the spine. Yes, so go in those two directions. Exhale to round, inhale to look up. Yeah, and don't be too strict. Just find your range in these two places today, okay? Think about trying to get your upper back to do a little bit more of the moving because that tends to be the stiffer spot in our spine. Very nice. All right, now land in neutral, which is somewhere between those two places. And we're going to take some, what I like to call nosedive push-ups, okay? So our hips are going to stay flexed, and we're just going to take our face down through the rails and then push back up. Yes, elbows angled about at 45 degrees, down and then up. Yes, and you're welcome to put some sticky mats under your hands if you feel like you need a little cushion or grip, okay? But with the fingers draping off, this feels pretty good on the wrists. Yes, so if you feel like you're bumping into the shoulder rest too soon with your thighs, you can scoot the knees back slightly. Let's do that a few more times so the ribs stay drawing up. Feel nice and connected under the arms. 2 more times. Last one. Good. All right, now pause in your neutral. Take one leg and extend it back behind you at hip height. And now we're going to continue with those push-ups, but now a little bit of extra weight gets tipped into the arms. So you want to keep the alignment of the leg and spine the same. So they stay in alignment, the foot tips a little higher, and press. So good. Make sure all your weight isn't shifting over to the supporting side. Last one. Whew. And then other side. Good. So it's almost like a teeter-totter, right? When one end goes up, the other end goes down. Same idea. So since the hips are flexed, this takes some of the intensity out of the abdominals and gives it to the arms, yeah? So you might be able to go a little deeper than you would go in a traditional push-up. Last one. Good, and then set the knee down and just sit back over your heels and take a little rest. Whew. All right, you guys. Now, instead of push-ups, we're going to do some lat pulls. So now the knees can go flush up against the shoulder rests. You want to start with your hands slightly forward of your shoulders, so this angle is open. Now, maintain your neutral, and you're just going to pull with both of your hands to bring the carriage towards your wrists, and then drift it back. So good. So lots of challenging things going on. The hips are going to maintain their nice 90-degree angle. Yeah, so that's a lot of work for the abs and the hip flexors to keep that. It's tempting to pull with your knees, but don't do it. We'll do that next, okay? So stick with just the arms being the movers. Very good. Now you can stay with both arms doing the pulling, or you can try to place one hand on your shoulder rest and do a few pulls with just one arm at a time. Whew, which is super duper challenging, but kind of fun to try. Yes, now remember, I'm on a blue. If you're on much heavier, then maybe you would need to drop down in order to do single arm pulls. Whew. And then let's do the other side. So you choose, either decrease your weight or just stick with the two arms. Oh, yes. So trying not to lean all your weight over that pulling arm. Try to stay centered over the headrest. Whew. Last one. Makes the abs have to work a lot more too. Oh. And then come all the way in and relax. Whew. Okay, good stuff. Next, we're we're going to add a single leg reach, just like we did with our push-ups, okay? So come back down, pick a leg to extend behind you. Now keep your alignment and pull with the arms, and then return. Good, pull, and then return. So a lot more work for the oblique and the hip flexors on that supporting leg. Whew, 2 more times. Yes, don't lean to one side, stay centered. Whew, and then let's switch legs right away. Ready, go. Switch and reach, and then we pull and then return. So good. If it helps, you can think of exhaling on the pull, inhale on the return. Let's do 2 more. Good. Back leg nice and parallel. Whew, and then put both knees down. Oh my goodness. Good stuff. Okay, I promised. I said we were going to move our hips next, which we are. So now we kind of switch roles. The shoulders are going to be more the stabilizers. Hips will be the movers. So start again with your hands forward of the shoulders, except this time we're going to rock our hips forward so that they're open. And my shoulders now come over where we set our hands up. So you see how this angle is more open? Here we go. So now leave the shoulders over the hands, pull with your hips and your knees, and then let the carriage drag back. Yes? Now you might need to play around with your placement until you get it just right. If you feel like you're bumping into your wrists too soon, then congratulations. That means you're super strong and you can start with your hands further out. Yes? Whew, good. Now we're trying to stay neutral here, not flex the spine, not yet anyway. Last 2, and then last 1. Whew, very good. Okay, sit back and stretch. Oh, so good, you guys. All right, next, challenging the obliques a little bit. You're gonna cross your knees, one knee over the other, and squeeze the inner thighs together. All right, now weight is even between the 2 hands, and we're gonna do those leg pulls here, in this crisscrossed position. So this target's a little lower on the abdominals and a little bit on that oblique of the bottom leg. Good. If that's uncomfortable, you can just do knees together rather than crossed over. That'll be kind of an in-between. All right, now we're gonna add a flexion of the spine. So when we pull the knees in, round your back. When they drift out, lengthen your spine. Do that again. Pull and round. And then release. Oh, so good, you guys. Think more up with the spine rather than down with your hips. So you don't want your booty getting close to your heels. Last 2. Whew. Get to neutral at the end. Last 1. Oh, amazing. You. All right, other side. Here we go. You can do a little wrist rehab in between if you need to. All right, cross it over. Get level on the back of the pelvis. Here we go. Now we're pulling with the lower body. So it's hip and knee flexion to move the carriage, and the shoulders are just staying strong over the hands as best as we can. Good. Now when you're ready, add a flex of the spine and then back to neutral. Exhale. You can rest on the stopper for a second in between. If you need to reset, it's a lot harder to stay off the stopper and go continuously. So you decide where we're at today. Let's do 2 more. I'm picking the rest on the stopper option in case you were wondering. Last one. Oh, amazing. Oh, okay. Wow. So good, you guys. All right. Now that we're sufficiently warmed up, I certainly am, grab your box. All right. So set your box up short ways, right up against your shoulder blocks. I increased my tension by a tiny bit. I added on a light spring, so now I'm on 3/4 tension. Some of you might want to do a full red or stay on that lighter blue. You decide. This one's going to be very variable, okay, depending on what we can handle. So you're going to sit facing your foot bar, grab your strap in either hand, hold whichever loop gives you the right amount of tension, and then palms forward, we're going to stack up nice and tall. Okay, now just do a nice simple arm raise here, straight up and straight down. So the elbows keep a slight little micro bend so we're not overextending the joint. Okay, now I love this sitting position. It's super comfortable. You get to have the feet firmly planted. Yes, so really be aware of where your weight is on your sitting bones. Okay, if you were to imagine if your pelvis was like a fishbowl full to the top with water, you wouldn't want to spill your water out of either side, right? Where the tendency is to lean forward and all your water would dump out the front. Okay, so you want to level that out. Let's do that one more time. Phew. Okay, pause down at the bottom for a second. Next, we're going to add on. So without changing the shape of our spine, arms do the same movement and you're just gonna float one foot off of the carriage and touch back down. Ooh, that is not easy. It's really tough to lift without rounding our lower spine. Let's do that a couple more times. Float and then drop. Good. Now, either keep the feet down if that's too much. If you want to advance it, straighten your leg and then replace it. Whew, kick it right out and then back down, or as straight as you can get it. Whew, with all those things in place that we talked about. Last 3. Ooh, a lot of work for the abs and hip flexors and the thighs. Last one. Whew, and then rest. Oh my goodness. Whew, that 3/4 spring is no joke. All right, so now bend your elbows, have your palms facing to the ceiling. We're gonna straighten the arms and internally rotate. So the palms are looking at the floor and then flip. Yes, so we're getting some nice rotation at the shoulder, always checking in that the ribs are stacked on top of the hips. All right, next level to add on here is a flexion of the spine, like you're diving underwater, and then sit back up tall. Palms face the floor, palms face the ceiling. So good. Really connect to those abs. It's like an upright abdominal curl. Last 2. Whew, reach those arms out at shoulder height. 1. Whew, and then come all the way up. Oh, good. All right, we're gonna add the leg lifts to that. I think I'm gonna switch to my long loops. It's getting a little heavy. All right, here we go. Now, you can either do a hover or a straight leg. You decide. So we flip and round and reach a leg and then sit up and return. Take your time so you have enough space to get to all these movements. Exhale, dive, and then stack up tall. So good. Remember, that's optional. You can just hover a foot or keep the feet down. Most challenging is extending that leg. It's kind of getting us in like a pistol squat position, almost sitting. Last time, round. Oh my goodness. Awesome, you guys. All right, next we're gonna go into hug a tree. So now, reach your arms open, hands slightly in front of your body, and you're just gonna touch your fingers in a circle and then open. Round and open. Make a nice big circle away from your sternum. Close and open. So good, you guys. Let's do 3 more. Good. Not letting the opening of the arms pull you off your stacked pelvis. Whew. And then relax. Whew. So good. All right, next, to finish up here, we're gonna do 2 different sets of triceps. First one, so we're gonna bring the ropes over the shoulders. For this one, stay upright, make a diamond with your hands, and bring the hands to your forehead, okay? So this is a little bit of triceps, but more abdominals to keep us sitting. So you're just gonna straighten your arms on the diagonal and bring the hands back to your forehead. So I want you to see how far back you can put your weight towards your tailbone without feeling like you're gonna somersault backwards. Yes, so you wanna be right on that line, where you feel like you're almost gonna get tugged back, but not quite, and you're gonna feel your low belly working like crazy to keep you sitting tall. Amazing, few more. My hands were drifting. To the forehead. Last 2. Elbows out at 45. Now pause with your arms straight. Now you can lean forward and let the hands go behind your head. So this one is less abs, more triceps. Oh, very good. Draw the ribs up away from your thighs. Those triceps get nice and stretched out as you bend at the elbow. Last 3. Good. Long neck in line with the spine. Last one. And then come all the way down. Amazing. All right, you guys. Okay, now we're going to use just one strap. Keep the box how it is. I'm going to go back to just the half spring, the single blue. Maybe more or less for you. You decide, okay? All right, so we're going to sit in kind of a faux mermaid position on this box. So one leg is going to be crossed over top of the box. The leg that's closest to the pulleys is going to go down so that my knee and shin are kind of on the headrest. Okay, and if your machine's a little different, you adjust to however is comfortable. Okay, but this feels pretty great. You get kind of a little boost up, which makes this pretty comfortable for our hips. You could, of course, drape your foot off the front if that feels better on your knee. Okay, so we're going to interlace our fingers, make a circle, and we're going to go into a spine twist in this sitting position. So we're going to breathe in on the start and then exhale as we rotate. Whew. Yeah, now this is kind of interesting. We have this shin down, so we can kind of post on it a little bit and feel nice and grounded through the lower body. Yeah, and our ribs are staying stacked on top of the hips. Awesome. And you just let your eyes follow that twist of the spine. Good. Let's do that 2 more times. Really connect to the obliques. So we should feel this more in our abdominals. Yes, than we do in our shoulders. If it's all shoulders, drop your hands a little bit or make your circle a little smaller. I'm going to make this about those rotational abdominals. Last one. Phew, very nice. All right, now that same basic spine movement is going to come back here, except we're going to use just one arm in the strap. So the other hand can come next to you on the box. Bend your elbow, palm facing down, thumb next to your chest. Good. Now you're just going to cut the arm across your body, twist and reach, and then rotate back. And you use this bottom hand, however's helpful. You can kind of push into the box to help you twist. Good. And try to stay perfectly upright. So feel like you're spinning up to the ceiling, getting taller, not leaning. So good. Twisting towards the foot bar. And again, we can kind of use this back leg to push down to ground us. Last one. Oh, so good, you guys. All right, adding a little bit of flexion to that. Again, this arm is going to be very active. We're going to twist. My supporting arm will bend a little bit, and I'm going to round towards the springs and then sit back up tall. Good. So now I'm laying my spine down and forward and then back up. Yeah, so get some extra work for the core to fold the body over. And then back up 2 more times. If that doesn't feel good, you stay with the upright version. Last one. Oh, so good. Nice, you guys. All right, this leg that's on the box will stay pretty much the same. The other leg is going to come off the machine. My bottom hand goes onto the carriage, so I'm in this long line resting on my hip. Okay, now this bottom elbow might need to soften to keep your body in a long line, okay? Now we're just going to take a couple of bicep curls with this strapped arm. Yeah, so a little space between the elbow and the ribs, and you're just curling the knuckles to the shoulder. Top leg parallel. All right, we're going to add an overhead press. Reach the arm overhead and then bring it back through to straighten. Good. I like to face the palm to the floor at the top and then to the front at the bottom. Reach. That's it. And you just rely on this bottom arm as much as you need to. So we're really supporting this from the bottom side of the waist. Last one. Whew, so good. Amazing. All right, last thing before we switch sides, we're going to drop the strap and come back down to the same position with the hand on the carriage. Okay, so now my top arm is going to rest on my thigh unless you want it on the box for support. Now, the leg is going to stay in place. I'm going to bend my elbow to lower my shoulders towards the floor, and then I'm going to press back up. So I'm doing like little miniature side bends coming from the waist, and you'll feel this top hand sliding closer to your kneecap and then away from it. Yes, so feeling a little opening through the waist and then a closing. Good. Now if you want to intensify that a little more, float the leg up an inch or 2 at the top and then back down to level. Whew. So I'm working the triceps on the bottom arm, and then tons of work for this top side oblique and Q well. Very good. Last two. And last one. Whew. Amazing. All right, before we switch sides, we're gonna try that with both legs reaching. Whew. So a lot less support. Here we go. You adjust till you feel like you're pretty well balanced. Squeeze the legs together, hand on the box or on your hip. You're gonna very slowly dip towards the floor and then press back up. Yes? So as you can see, it's not my legs moving, not yet anyways. It's my spine and my elbow. So the elbow is really the driver and the spine just follows. Good. Now, if you want a little more challenge, top leg lifts an inch or two, lowers an inch or two. So this little spot gets closer together. 3, long neck, chin back, 2. Last one. Whew. Amazing, guys. Oh, it's like sort of like a exercise we do on the ladder barrel, which is a lot of fun. So it's kind of nice to simulate that here on the reformer. All right, so now grab your new strap, turn around, face the other direction. All right, so we're going to start in that kind of elevated mermaid position with one shin on the headrest. Interlace the fingers, breathe in and rotate towards the pulleys. Exhale, rotate to the foot bar. Good, and you just find the biggest circle that you can handle. Good, feel a little squeeze against the shoulder blocks with that bottom inner thigh. Yes, so we get a little more support here from the lower body than we normally get in this mermaid sitting position. Good, last two, breathe out more the deeper you twist. And last one. Very good. Drop your one hand, bend the strap elbow, and we're going to punch that one arm across and then return. So single arm with rotation and back. Good. Use that hand on the box to give you a little leverage to twist and then return. All right, now let's go right into it this side since we already know what we're doing. We're going to end up folded over our box leg and then back up tall. So I rotate the back shoulder, chest looks at the floor. Whew, kind of aiming the hand to the front corner of your foot bar. Last two. So good. Last one. Oh, amazing. So good, you guys. All right, now going into that bicep curl. So shift the hip down a little bit on the box if you need to. Top leg is long, elbow close but not touching. And then I curl and stretch that top arm. Good. Feel a gentle connection up from that bottom side of the ribs. Okay, now we add our overhead press when we're ready. Palm faces the ground and then return. Yes, try to go kind of even tempo in both directions so we're not just tugging and throwing on the springs. Last two. So good. Hold that long leg at hip height. Very nice. Whew. All right, drop the strap and we'll go into our little tricep push-ups with our side bend. So start with the elbow pretty bent and then we push up and down. Very small range. You can move your hand around so you feel like it's in the right spot to get a good angle of the elbow. Very good. So really focus in right in here where the rib and hip get close. Now add the top leg, lifting an inch and then lowering. So the two ends come towards each other and then long. 3. Last 2. Last 1. Whew. Awesome, you guys. Okay, last thing, if you can, if not, repeat what we just did. Whew. Legs are long, ankles are squeezing, so my inner thighs are working now. Bend the bottom elbow. Here we go. Push and then lower. It's hard to say who's getting the more work, the arm or the waistline. It's pretty well matched. Good. Stay nice and stacked right on top of that hip bone. Now when you're ready, add the float and lower of the top leg. Not too big. Yes, too big and your spine won't be able to lift very much. Last 3, 2, and last one. Oh, so good, you guys. All right, help yourself all the way back up. Whew. amazing. All right, now we're going to put our box over top of your foot bar. So depending on your machine, this might look a little bit different. So however it works on your setup, you want your foot bar down and then your box over the top of it. Okay, make sure it's secure. Your box might be on a slight angle, but just make sure it's not going to go moving around. Okay, and then for me, I'm going to use the platform extender on my Marathon machine and put the box on top of it. That works really well for me. Let's do a medium and a light spring. So a blue and a white, blue and a yellow, depending on what kind of machine you're on. Okay, so I like that because it's kind of a balance between ab work and arm work. Go heavier if you want more arms, go lighter if you want more abs. Okay, this is kind of the in-between. So you're going to put, if you're on a stop machine, you're going to put your platform extender on right up against the wooden platform and then slide your short box down and then place it right on top. Make sure that it's not hanging off on this edge of the platform. There we go. So that should keep it nice and secure for us, okay? All right, so next we are going to come on to all fours, right? Kind of like how we warmed up, but we're going to be facing the other way. And thanks to the box, we get to be on our forearms. So come on down. Tuck your toes under so they're against the shoulder rests. If you're on the taller side, you might have to slide your elbows a little further out, okay? So now let's just squeeze our shoulder blades in and out and do a little bit of scapula isolation here. Okay, feel the shoulder blades squeeze in towards each other and then spread wide. Good. So spine is neutral and we're just gliding in and out, seeing where we can go in those two directions. So good. All right, now stay in that place of spreading the shoulder blades apart to really use that power of the shoulders. Now you're going to push the knees out from under you and then draw them back in. Perfect. Push away and then come back in. So my shoulders are staying over the elbows and we're really isolating the hips, extending and returning. And it's not going to feel super crazy yet because our springs are very light, okay? But we're just kind of warming up this action. Now pause with the hips open, squeeze the glutes. Now the shoulders are going to be the movers. Push away and then pull. Good. So I'm sawing my body back and forth. Leave the low body nice and still. So good. Go as far as you're comfortable. Take the shoulders away from the box and then return. Now let's put the two together. Bring the knees in when you pull with the arms. Take the knees out as you push. So I'm flexing and extending the shoulders and the hips. Yes. 5, 4, keep breathing. Last 3. So good. Go a little further 2. Keep that widening of the shoulder blades. Last 1. Whew. Awesome, you guys. All right, next step up, we're going to start bringing our knees off the carriage slowly. So let's get into it before we go crazy. So just start, spread the shoulder blades wide, and I just want you to pick one knee up and put it down. So just doing a little rotation of the pelvis and really use the obliques to draw the knee up. Yeah, so feel nice and active through the abdominals. Okay, if that feels pretty good, now lift one knee up at a time till they're both off. Set one knee down at a time until they return. And if your carriage moves out a little bit, that's okay, especially if you're taller. You might need to do that. Up, up, down, down. Let's do a few more, maybe switch so you have the other leg coming up first. Very good. Okay, you stay at the level that you need to. Now, the next level up would be to hover both knees at the same time, touch both knees at the same time. If that is too challenging for you today, then you stick with breaking it up, okay? Hover, stay as neutral as you can. If you need to round the back a little bit, you can. So good. All right, here we go. Next level, hover the knees and stay. Push the legs straight. Come back in and touch the knees down. Do that again. Now you get your knees off however you need to. You can stagger them if that's more doable for you, or keep the knees down and repeat the leg presses that we've already done. Good. Now if you don't need to touch the knees down, let's do a few continuous ones. Whew, keep the hips nice and low. Now again, it's lighter springs, so it's more about the arms and the abs. 2, 1, although you'll be feeling it in the legs too. Good, and then come on down. At least I am. Whew, amazing. All right, next level up, we start moving the arms. This was our little break. Okay, here we go. So knees down to modify, or lift up to your plank and stay, and then we saw back and forward. Back and forward. Really connect to the lower body so nothing changes. All right, you guys, just like before, we're gonna do arms and legs together. When I pull forward, bend the knees, push out, straighten the knees. So my shoulders and my legs go together. That is so challenging. Do 3 more. Push, good. 2, look between the hands, 1. And then come all the way down. Oh my goodness, amazing. All right, you guys, we've got one last thing, and then we're gonna call it a day. So facing side now, one elbow on the box. Okay, your top leg, that foot will go forward on the shoulder rest, other leg will go back. Okay, here we go. Shoulder over elbow. This hand either on the box or reaching. We're just gonna start kind of getting comfortable here. So we're gonna straighten both legs, bend both legs. Good, the knees stay lined up with the toes. Whew. Good, and my pelvis is staying pretty well still, just a bend of the knees. All right, now pause with your legs straight, reach the arm up. We're gonna pike and rotate, bring the feet in and thread the needle, and then drop back open. Good, few more times. If you need this hand on the box to help you, go for it. You do whatever is gonna get you through. Whew, do that 2 more times. Look upside down where the hand is reaching. 1. Oh my goodness, and come all the way down. Oh, phew. Okay, that was short and sweet. Now let's do the other side. Didn't want to spend too much time there, okay? All right, so top foot forward, bottom foot back. Here we go. Connect under this bottom side, push out and in. Oh, so good. Chin back, top hand either on the box or reaching to the sky. Good. Now let's pause with straight legs. Drop the crown of your head so it's looking at the box, and then back. That's really the trick. You want to tip and look upside down to get the weight over the box so that the legs are free to pull, and then back. Last 2. Last 1. Phew, so good. All right, you guys, take a seat on your box, and we're gonna cool down and call it a day. All right, so your feet are on the carriage, arms long. Exhale, and just fold over your legs. Breathe in at the bottom, feel the opening through the back of the ribs, and then sit back up tall. Good, 2 more times. So just coming back to our breath. Breathe in through the nose to kind of slow down that respiration a little. And then up. Good, 1 more time. See if your hands can get a little closer to the carriage each time. Good. Now reach the arms out, twist to one side, place the back hand on the back corner of the box, and then just take a little side bend with rotation. So I'm reaching over to the back corner and then go to the other side. Twist, stay strong through the lumbar, and let the upper back just pour over that back hand. Whew. Do that 2 more times. Twist, hand to the back edge, and then stretch. Good. Last time. Back hand to the back corner. All right, last thing here. Both hands to the back of the box. Push down with your fingertips. Lift your chest, almost as if your sitting bones feel like they get lighter. You're pushing so hard with the arms. Whew. Good. And then just stack up tall. All right, you guys, I hope you enjoyed that challenging ab and arm workout. If you did, please give it a like. Leave me a comment down below if you have any feedback or requests for future videos. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and please share this video with a friend, and I'll see you next time. Bye!